we go. Press. And so, Carrie Ann, if you read the first bit about that, what it says about body language.
So it says, welcome. Caring for someone with dementia requires a thoughtful and empathetic approach, with body language playing a crucial role in uh, fostering a sense of security and connection. This guide outlines key strategies for caregivers to enhance communication through body language, creating the positive and supportive environment for individuals living with dementia.
Okay, so I mean, we all know what we do, and it's like, and so of course we all know that it's never what you say.
Let my dog in here.
Yeah, it's never what we actually say. Wording, what we actually say in our words is hardly anything. It's
Yeah.
the tone of our voice and it's the body language,
Mhm.
because we can all say to somebody, well, I only said, did you have a nice day to them?
Mhm.
How did you say? What was your body
Yeah.
language? Is what? Oh, did you have a nice day?
Yeah.
It, or did you have a nice day? Or hey, did really being really interested? Or yeah, did you have a nice day while you're doing something else? You know, it's
Mhm.
so important. It's that leaning in
Yeah.
and actually being interested. Again, it goes back to creating that person's personhood. I know you know that. Now, the reason why we have that guide is because that's to give to the caregivers.
It did say a guide for the caregivers.
Yeah, that is for the care because they don't always know. We know it because we do what we do.
Mhm.
Okay. Gary, I'm sure when you're teaching, when you're with your people living with cancer, you're not like, oh, oh, how was your chemo today?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're a little bit more like, how was it today? You
Well,
know?
actually, generally, you try and deal with the issue and life generally, and typically avoid talking about the treatment unless they want to bring it up. That's how I
Well,
tend to try and do treatment.
fair enough, but you know what I mean. I'm just saying
Yeah,
you would be interested in what
yeah,
they're coping with as opposed to being completely bored and looking elsewhere. It's like, yeah, you might be wanting to say any dishy nurses coming in. If any just to lighten it up a bit.
mm. Oh
Um,
yeah. Really.
but it's what else does it say, Gary? I'll let you read the next bit.
Right. Section one: mindful communications. Tip one: facial expressions and tone of voice. Be conscious of your facial expressions and the tone of your voice. Whilst words may fade, the emotions conveyed through kindness and softness linger, profoundly impacting the individual's emotional state.
And we know that, but the caregiver often doesn't. They don't
Mm.
realize that they are the co-regulator. Okay, that word is really important, that they need to understand that the way they are is how the day is going to go.
Yep.
Okay, so, and I know, and it's very self-explanatory. What's the next bit in that, Carrie Ann?
The next section one, mindful communications. Tip number one, facial expressions and tone of voice. Be conscious of your facial expressions and tone of your voice. While words may fade, the emotions conveyed through kindness and softness linger, profoundly impacting the individual's emotional state.
That's right. So that's good. So we've just done that one. Okay, and the next one, Gary, you read the next one.
Right, tip two then. Right, instead of tip one again. Right. Tip two, presence and body language. Engage with kindness in your eyes, a gentle tone, and a leaning posture. Creating a safe space is more likely when your demeanor exudes warmth and reassurance. Obviously, the only thing I would comment on there is you know, careful with your leaning posture. It needs to be a friendly leaning posture, not an impacting space leaning posture.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, because there can be you're quite right,
Because
actually.
it could be seen as threatening.
Yeah, and especially if it's coming to the so when I say leaning in and being interested, and then there's leaning in and taking up someone's space and it being authoritative and getting in someone's face. Is that's what you're saying, is it, Gary?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So make sure that actually you're quite right. There is a video that goes with this as well, actually, in the actual series. But like I say, it's that Beryl and I did together for each around each bit. So tip number 3, you go for tip number 3, Carrie Ann.
Tip number 3, joining their world. During challenging moments, join their reality. You may not control their distress, yet you can control your responses. Maintain calmness, providing a stable and secure presence during difficult times.
Yeah, it's just about keeping it, because what's happening is that they're unable to regulate what's going on for them, and the only person, you're the caregiver. It is so hard, though. It is so hard. You're doing it day in, day out, day in, day out for people.
Yeah.
You had this with your mother, Carrie Ann, which and some people are lovely with dementia.
Yeah.
And some people aren't.
Yeah.
They can be very cruel and scathing, and it can just wear people away. So it's about, for us, what can we do for those caregivers? I think giving them a lot of support and that you're with them and you know it's hard, and giving them that force field, that protection.
Yeah.
So is there a tip number 4, Gary?
Yep. Section 2 is tip number 4. Section 2, practical approaches. So tip 4 is voice level and approach. Keep your voice level, except when laughter is appropriate. Keep your voice level, except when laughter is appropriate. Approach at a comfortable pace, and when bending down, ensure you remain at eye level or slightly above, as looking down may inadvertently affect their mood.
Yeah, because we know that when we look up, we're often a lot happier.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting how that works. We look up to the sun, we look up to the moon, up to the stars. We kind of look down at the mud, we look down at saying that, we also have to look down to look where our feet are going. That is the problem, isn't it, with people walking. So it's but if we're actually talking to them, we want to be having them more looking up, or at eye level.
Yeah. There's a motivational speaker, Les Brown is his name. And he says, if you can look up, you can get up.
Okay, nice.
And I love that.
Yeah, if you can look up, you can get up. There you go. Yeah. All right, good one. Okay, so Karen, is that section 2 now? Is that tip? I don't know how it goes.
5. Tip 5 in section 2, dominant side approach. Approach the person from their dominant side. This simple adjustment contributes to a sense of safety and familiarity.
Yeah, and that goes back to something within us, is that we feel more vulnerable on our, are you both right-handed?
Yeah, my hand.
So if you, generally, we can feel more vulnerable on our left side than we do on our right side. I know there are people who are ambidextrous, lovely, but in general, it's like, because it can go back to protection, you see, push somebody away immediately with our right hand. We feel stronger, don't we, than with our left hand. If you both do that now to push somebody away.
Yeah.
Now do it with your left hand.
I'm pretty ambidextrous.
Are you?
People,
okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I write right-handed, and predominantly I do right-handed things, but I'm very good with my left.
And this is another little thing that you can get people to do, is to actually start writing their name with their left hand.
Oh, yeah.
Because again, you're building synapses.
Yeah.
And it's a game that all families can play at the table. Nobody's very good, but you can get grandma or granddad playing, and all the kids can do it, and everybody can join in. Oh, let's write this sentence. Who's got the, so what? There's no left-handed writing police. So it doesn't matter. But what it's doing is it's getting the grandparent to join in, and actually they're building a new functionality. So that's like a little fun thing that families can do. So just take note of that one. People are saying, well, what do we do with them? What do we do at the dinner table? What do we do? Play, play, play. And then, so is there another one? Gary, you read the next one.
Yeah, tip 5, dominant side. Oh, sorry, we've just done that one, haven't we? So we're on section 3, emotional regulation. Tip 6, co-regulation as a caregiver. Recognize the importance of co-regulation. Individuals with dementia rely on caregivers to help them navigate emotions. Remaining calm is crucial as they can intuitively sense stress or urgency.
Yeah, I mean, it's all self-explanatory, you know, and if you're agitated, people pick up on it. Pick up. So give time. Time is key. Slow. Don't worry about being late. My last client I had last week, and she was like, that's what the problem was, because she likes to be early. She likes to be on time. He's got dementia. He wants to do it at his own time. There's like locking horns, you know, it's hard. And either of them are probably going to change because they're in their 80s. So, you know, it's so it's just give more time. What can we do? And it's it's got to bring in, try to do our best to bring in that sense of humor where possible. But he was getting pretty agitated with me as well, I don't mind saying. So I was clearly not doing something right as well. So it's like, you know, you have to keep changing the conversation, but he was getting fed up. So in that case, now I'm more aware that we'll probably be needing to do more of the hypnosis, really. Is there any more on any of that?
Yes, there's a tip 7 that says mindful communication, stress, and rush. Be mindful of your own stress levels. Individuals with dementia absorb them and mimic the caregiver's emotions. A calm, unrushed approach contributes significantly to their well-being.
Yeah. So pretty much what I've just been saying. It's and it's to us, it's probably not rocket science. It's not, but if it's said in 5 different ways, then the caregiver might take it in. You know, give time.
Exactly.
You're the co-regulator. It's like just steady away. But if you're getting frustrated, the whole atmosphere, we know it. The energy can just change.
It becomes an energetic thing because we're sensitive to each other. So the caregivers mimic their person that they're caring for. They mimic their situation too.
They
Just like
do.
little kids, they get so upset. But
Yeah,
if you do that with them, it's just adding fuel to the fire.
it does. It does. However, I'm going to share this with you. So Dan Candell did the keynote speech at ICBCH, and his mother has got dementia, and she's taken to like just screaming, to just like going ah, like this, right, every so often. And he was sat there and he was like, you know, had been trying to do. So this time he just went bah! Back to her, and she went
And she had some fun.
and she had some fun, and it went.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So he mirrored back what she was feeling.
Right.
So there you go.
And mirroring is a great way to, you know, create that
rapport, get on their level. That's what she was feeling. Okay.
Right.
And this is what it's like. That's what she was. So very interesting.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, when we've got kids as well, if they're doing that, actually sometimes, you know, kids are lying on the floor having a paddy. If you lie down on the floor and have a paddy with them, yeah, that means you are feeling their feelings with them.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Interesting,
feel
isn't
that
it?
connection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. And then you move on, because actually probably all she wanted to do was feel her feelings. And what are we all doing? Always suppressing everybody's feelings, because if it's too noisy or too whatever, oh, we can't possibly do that.
Yeah.
Crying seems to be acceptable. But say she's forgotten that's the thing to do.
Yeah.
Some people do get weepy and cry a lot, but she just feels like actually maybe it's an anger thing. We don't know, but he actually mirrored back. So interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is get curious, and if one thing isn't working, try another.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing that will happen?
Yeah.
What's the worst? Yeah. But if she's doing it, yeah. And this is what we can do with our caregivers. We don't know. They don't know. Anybody in there, they don't know. It's just like trial and error the whole time. The whole time. Okay, is that the end of that e-guide?
Nope.
Oh, go for it.
We've got section 4 and a conclusion.
Go for it.
Right, section 4, respecting individuality. Tip 8, avoid baby talk. Respect their life experiences and wisdom by refraining from baby talk. Instead, adopt a partnership approach that acknowledges their adulthood, fostering a relationship based on mutual respect and independence.
Yeah, because if we treat them like oh, hello, honey, how are you today? You know, hey, it's like they might have been an accountant.
Patronizing.
It is patronizing.
Yeah.
It is patronizing. However, saying that, if I gave this little bunny, say, to any person, any woman who hasn't even, with no, everybody's going to start going, oh, hello. Anybody. Because that is a very cute bunny, isn't it? If I gave that to you, Carrie Ann, I bet you would just go, you would start playing with it, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, yeah. And Gary, you might just go over your shoulder. I don't know.
I might frighten the cat with it.
But
my dog would love it too.
Yeah,
sure.
but it's a very, very cute little bunny.
Yeah.
And so no matter what, anybody, cuddly little toys and things are actually very nurturing for people.
Yeah.
Because you just can't, and everybody loves the little bunny, because bunnies are very, well, Easter bunny, nobody dislikes bunny rabbits.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so it's very harmless, and it's just like, yeah. So again, it's about finding out what they like and how you can get on their level without it being patronizing. Men probably wouldn't necessarily like this, okay, but any women generally do, okay. So it's like just because you do, you can't help it, because it brings out the little girl in us. However, how about giving a man, if he's been an engineer, how about giving him some sort of like, do you remember putting together, did you ever do that?
Toys or Legos or that.
Putting the toys together, yeah, the metal toys, and having to put them together.
Oh, I know, the erector sets.
Meccano, I think they were in the UK.
Yeah, Meccano in England, or anything like that.
I never had one, but yeah, I know what you mean.
So it's like finding out what they like to do. They've got more time now. That is also really good hand-eye coordination for people, and it's just little projects.
A friend of mine owns a phenomenal toy store here in town, and it's all about the old toys that we did, that kind of thing, that we were actually building things or whatever. And he has some wonderful games, that little wooden games and stuff like that are really fabulous. I buy them as gifts a lot, actually, for people.
Yeah, and mature people, they also like them,
Sure. Yeah.
It's like it's not just kids. We actually do like those games, and playing games is very important, but without it being patronizing. You know, it is
Yeah.
very. It's that whole thing of like,
Yeah.
that's why the adult coloring books, it has to, if you instead of like, oh, here's a child's coloring book, it's like, oh, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if they are still cognizant enough. And but you got to find out the person. You got to get on their level. Who would find it patronizing? Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Because there are some people that would, and some people that just wouldn't, and they would appreciate anything that will help them. So it's you got to find out your person, and who they are. And some people find it, they don't mind endearing things, but it's like, hello, sweet cheeks, how are you today? It's like somebody might want to hit you.
Yeah. And again, it's all about the approach, isn't it? Like you were right from the beginning that we were saying, how it's
Find out.
approached, or, you know,
Find out about the person.
present that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I went to a house on Tuesday last week. I can't help them. All right. And it was, don't mind saying, it was pretty grim. She's got MS, very foggy. And I went to a house. I won't be returning. I was ill afterwards. The amount of smoke in the house,
Oh, yeah.
right on my chest. All right. And she disappeared off to the bathroom in the last half hour when I was going to be doing any hypnosis. And she must have had about 3 cigarettes in there while she was there. But anyway, I never saw her again. But the daughter was there. And it was the daughter that had found me. And actually, she was the one who actually wanted to work with me, really. So she will be my client. She'll come to me. So I am going to what am I going to do? I'm now going to give you some things. Gary, do you get information? Do you have notes for your doctors? Do you have a doctor's note? Get their
No.
permission. How do you do that?
What, the cancer stuff?
Yeah.
Well, it's two options. It depends whether it's hospital or private. At the hospital, they're just sent to me as part of the hospital thing. So I just get their case notes that we would use from the complementary therapy centre.
So, but otherwise, if you had somebody working with you, would you then, who wanted to work with you privately, would you say yes? And because this is what I do. I get right. They are oncologists.
No, in this country, as long as you're not doing anything to invalidate your insurance, typically, no, you wouldn't. I would go, and the doctors are particularly bad at coming back to you anyway over here because they're too bloody busy, and you've got the gatekeeper who is the receptionist or the admin person, so it's really hard to get a response. So typically, I would only ask for a doctor. Well, either I would ask to approach the doctor, or preferably get them to get me a letter from the doctor. But I wouldn't do that for oncology. The only cases I would do that would be really sort of difficult things. Probably nowadays, probably only anything to do with psychosis or epilepsy would be the only things I think I would ask for a doctor's note. I mean, I used to ask it for things like bipolar, but I don't have a problem with that anymore, and things like borderline personality disorder. But now I've got and some of the doctors are quite dismissive anyway. I mean, I did a borderline personality disorder. I do now do quite a lot of them, but I did one years ago, and I thought, well, I don't know whether I should be doing this. And I approached a psychologist, and he said, yeah, I'll support you, but we need to get the doctor's permission. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor came back and said, oh yeah, you're not likely to cause any harm, was the response I got. Very dismissive, but I did 5 sessions, and this lady wrote me a wonderful letter saying how I'd completely transformed her life. and sent it to a doctor, and then the doctor admitted that I'd made more difference in 5 sessions than anything they'd done in 15 years, and now sort of sends me the odd one along. So yeah,
Wonderful.
so it's very rare that I would seek doctor's permission over here. I certainly wouldn't for oncology stuff.
Okay, so I do, just to cover myself with insurance. So I send and I say, and if I and in England I used to say, and if I haven't heard from you within 2 weeks, then I'll take that it's okay for me to work with them,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they
yeah,
never get back to you. You're quite right.
yeah.
So working with somebody living with dementia, again, we're part of the team. You don't have to, but I get their doctors and I just send them a letter saying I'm part of the team, I'm working with them, and it's you know, and I just say it that way. I do get lots of signatures from people. I'll send you I'll copy what I got from Dr. Daniel Nightingale, and you can make up your own. And it's like I made up, you know, some of my own, and it's but I'll send you the ones that I got from him. And it's completely up to you what you do with those, if you know, but it's just about getting, you know, we sign off. I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist. I'm you know, I'm not going to cure. It's, you know, I don't diagnose, that sort of thing. I'm here as a support. I think one of our main things here is that we are to support the care partner and the person when they first get their diagnoses. I know a lot of what I've said is, as people are going down the line of their dementia journey, that's because sometimes people's journey is pretty quick. And all of a sudden, it may be within the year, and the caregiver, they were close to you, and the care partner, and now it's like they're asking you, and you need to have some answers, you know. That's why it's like why we can do what we can do. Now, idiomotor responses, do you use those, Gary? Do you use those,
Yeah.
Carrie Ann?
Yes, I do.
So good, I don't need to tell anybody what they are. They are very pronounced within somebody living with dementia.
Oh,
It's a very pronounced finger. Okay. And so you can say that you're speaking to the you know, that bigger mind of theirs. I don't know what you choose to call it. Do you call it unconscious mind, subconscious mind, the magic mind, the creative mind?
What I do is I connect the subconscious mind to higher self.
Okay.
That's what I do. And higher self is that part of you that's all loving, all that has loved you forever and understands and cares for you more than anything. So that's that higher part of them. And
Nice.
I have their subconscious mind connect with that to bring about in the session not all that is safe and productive, and during the session.
Okay, so and let me know when that subconscious mind is connected to higher self.
Yeah, then we do I first of all do an idiomotor signal that says when the answer to the question is yes, what finger would you raise for that? And then I ask the same thing for the no. And
Yeah.
then I have a statement that says, if it's so you understand that when I ask a question, when it's the true answer is yes, you'll raise this finger. If it's no, you'll raise this finger. And then I go into the higher self connecting with the subconscious mind.
So whatever you do,
they understand that their subconscious mind is willing to work with the higher self.
Wonderful. Okay, I don't think we don't need a no, we just need a yes. So you'd only need one. Okay, but you can find out which one is their yes or no. So Gary, again, you use the idiomotor with this, because we're only giving them, say, positive stuff. We're not doing any therapy work as such as getting rid of certain things. We are literally going to be, we're not doing time distortion, we're not doing whatever, we're literally giving them, bringing back the good feelings of when they could, that they can do this, they can do that, it's building their self-esteem and confidence, basically, their remembered time. So it's probably always just going to be and their finger is literally raised for the whole yes, while they're in hypnosis. And there is a trigger word, so like relax or calm. Whenever I say this, you will feel that. So I'll probably do a recording at some point of I'll do one of mine, and then I'll do one of Dr. Dan's that he gave. It's got a stag in it, which may be very useful for, say, somebody who goes, shooting, maybe for somebody in the Scottish Highlands or somewhere here where I live, because there's a lot of shooting. Do they go shooting where you are in Kerry-Ann?
Oh, yeah. We're talking Arizona here. Yeah, they're big hunters.
What do they hunt there, though? You've only got little piggies.
No, they hunt deer.
You've got deer in Arizona.
Hunt elk.
Elk, there you go.
They can do the javelina for sure.
Oh, of course, all the big ones up in the north bit by the
yeah, see, I'm in northern Arizona anyway. I'm not in northern Arizona. But I'm not in Phoenix, where it's definitely hot or anything. We're just more on a medium, level, but big hunters. In fact, I was talking to my chiropractor. He eats what he hunts. He said, I hunt so that I can eat the animals. So he said, I don't buy meat. I
no,
eat
well, good.
So that's what he does. But yeah, so there's deer and elk and
okay. Yeah, I remember seeing them.
pigs, I
we
guess,
went to the Grand Canyon. There were lots of elk there. So yeah. So you're right. So okay.
Yeah.
So yes, interestingly, the stag one might be quite a good one for where you are, but for a, you've got to, for somebody who lives by the beach and who's do you know what I mean, a stag, they might, it's not going to necessarily do it for them. So we can all adapt. So I'll probably do two different ones, which you can just enjoy. You might even fall asleep. Or maybe you prefer if I just give you the well, no, I'll do a recording, you can listen to it, because it's important for us all to do the opposite of stress as well every day. And you can sit and make it and do one of your own. I'm not going to tell anybody how to do what you do, because you would do something different, but you'll see that it's about bringing in the positives. It's about, oh, that's nice, and making it nice and easy going. And he also only really likes to have the progressive muscle relaxation, nice and slow and easy. And I personally tend to agree with him. I think it's much more gentle for somebody to have a nice progressive muscle relaxation. I don't know what you both do in your work.
I do a lot of different inductions personally.
I don't do a huge amount, but certainly with cancer patients, and one of the things I teach on my course is the first thing that you do with a patient is stabilize. And so if they're having sort of a panic attack or something like that, then you need to come in with something fast and hit them. But if it's general sessions, I would say generally as a first session, my idea of stabilization is progressive muscle relaxation, a nice deepener, and then we'll do some sort of anxiety release or emotional detox. That's it for first session. Get them in a nice place. And I always say as well, because they're a bit of a cog in a wheel, they might be having chemotherapy that day. They either might have just had it, or they're going to have it, or they might be seeing a specialist. And you know, all stressed and stuff and whatever. So it's the hypnotherapy session is also some nice me time, and progressive muscle relaxation is nice for that. So
I agree. I agree. So yeah, so I agree. In my other sessions, I might do with, you know, but with somebody living
Right.
with dementia, I think a progressive muscle relaxation is nicer. Beryl disagrees with me. She hates progressive muscle relaxation. All right, she doesn't like it at all. So she would do, you know, a different induction, but
why doesn't she like it?
she says it bores her.
Mm.
So it's quite funny, you know, and but I actually think it's a really nice way for people to go into hypnosis, but as Bob Burns calls it, it can become relaxotherapy.
Yeah, yeah, a few people say that.
And do you know what? Fair enough, because sometimes, you know, I can't do it with some of my clients. They just go to sleep.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I had
true. It's
one.
a little
I had one
too,
recently that
yeah,
had that problem. I did a recording because it was
mhm,
something so unusual and unique that there wasn't anything available. So I thought, well, I'll do some suggestion and do a recording. And yeah, and I did that and a deepener, and she just said, "Oh, can we do another one?" Because she wanted the suggestion changed anyway, and she said, "Oh, when you do the next one, can you make the induction shorter because I'm just going to sleep listening to
yeah.
it."
You get that, Carrie Ann.
I do get that. I very well aware of that as
Yeah.
well. It's nice, like the first time or so, I think, to do that. Like you say, you're just getting to know them. They maybe haven't experienced hypnosis before, and some people just like that, very relaxed. It's very nice. But at the same time, they can be sleeping halfway through the session. And
Yeah.
then that's not so great.
No, because they are asleep.
Not that they're not getting it, even if they're sleeping, they're getting the information.
Well, do you think they are? I think,
Absolutely, the subconscious never ever sleeps. The subconscious doesn't sleep.
okay.
The
So
conscious mind sleeps
because
because
I
the
think they
subconscious,
do, but not as much. I don't think they get it as much as they would if they were just in that more theta state.
right. I like them to be more in
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
theta, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely, that's what I would prefer. That being said, they're still getting it.
Yeah.
You
So
know, I
so that's why you see the ideomotor when they've got the finger up, you know, they're
yeah.
actually that. So that's why that can be a, you know,
Are you hearing me?
are you hearing me?
Yeah.
So there's that. But I agree. I mean, there was one man I had, as soon as I said close your eyes, he'd be asleep. I made him
Yeah.
sit.
I've
I
had
made
that.
him sit on the floor in the end in my room and he still fell asleep.
Make him do it standing up.
Yeah, there you go. I'll make him stand up. So it's like, but it's so funny. Just some people can, they just do, they just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Um, so, but yeah, so always have that again, and I'm sure we learned this when we that have permission that if I think you're falling asleep, I'm just going to touch you, nudge your foot.
Mhm.
I'll often nudge people's feet because they're sticking out near my foot, and I can just jog them a bit.
Sometimes just mentioning their name and saying, come up to the perfect place where you can hear what I'm saying. A lot of times I do
Yeah,
that.
just waking up just enough to hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's so just saying that you might need to do that so that they don't go like that, or they don't sort of like that they know that that's what's happening. But again, we won't know until we're doing it because
Yeah.
everybody's
Everybody's
and
different.
maybe they had a bad night's sleep the night. Maybe that's the only time they ever do it, and you'd never know. So I like so that is what we do, and we don't necessarily do a full hypnosis session in the first session. You will do some. I might just do a quick relaxation, just the permissive relaxation, just the progressive muscle
Right.
relaxation, then wake them up, just so that
Right.
they can get used to it. And then in the second one, do it. Or you could do some of your version of a mindfulness session. so that they can start to get used to it. That's in the first session. In the second session, then you would start doing it, and do more of the session with that, of the hypnosis, so that they build their confidence, because so much of this is the confidence. Do you remember, it's getting rid of reducing the fear and the anxiety, so that the person becomes big, and making, and the dementia, it goes small as well. So it's about bringing them back. But when you find, because when you're doing because we've found out all about them, maybe you can turn a session into a soccer, or their coaching, or their ballet, or their this, or their that, and building in, remembering all those wonderful things that you've achieved. Some people have cups all over their walls, some people have whatever they've got, and remembering their family that love them, because if they've got a house filled with photographs, it's that sort of thing. So it's just reminding them that loved, and that they are the person first. So that's the sort of thing that you would be doing in the actual suggestions and things like that, so that because their subconscious mind, as we know, or that bigger part of them, whatever you want to call it. I know we've got one of our peers says there is no such thing as a subconscious and unconscious mind. I mean, it is all just a model, and that's and so, but people generally understand what we mean with that.
Yeah, I explain it sort of mixed now. I say we use this as an analogy and a model, because all the current neuroscience say there's no such thing as conscious and unconscious. They call it a non-conscious, but different bits do different things. But I always say unconscious. My original mentor said never say the subconscious, because it's not subordinate to the other one, and that's being rude to
They're
it.
one and this, yeah, they're both.
They're both the same.
Yeah, so I don't call it the
One's
conscious and the unconscious. So, but
Yeah,
I tell people it's an analogy and a model. It doesn't actually work like that.
I think that's a really good way to say it. Yeah, I say it's a model, and I generally call it the unconscious mind as well. Of course, then if I'm working with an anaesthetist, she goes, "Well, I'd be unconscious." No. Oh God. You see? So you're gonna be
languaging again.
I said,
Languaging
no,
is the
you'll
big
still be
thing.
fully aware. I said it's just a term.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could break your bones over all of this sort of stuff, but yeah, there's some people who really like to knuckle crunch it. And it's just they're just models. It's fine, just to get our point across, so that people in general can understand it. We're not going up against neuroscientists here. So any questions about what you might or might the length of time you would want to do? What are your average hypnotherapy sessions? How long are they?
It depends whether you're talking about general or hospital ones. In hospital, typically they're probably about 40 minutes, because I inquire far less. I take far less notes and things like that. So they're probably about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and also I have to sort of get them in. They're probably often late, and then file stuff. So about 40 minutes. My general sessions tend to be up to an hour, or around an hour. First one might be an hour and 10, because I explain a lot of stuff, but now I'm finding it's more typically an hour. A last one might be sort of 45 minutes, something like that. So they do vary, but it's unusual to get it to go beyond an hour.
And so keep it as you do it.
Yeah.
Don't change it. If that's, you got to do you.
Yeah.
Right? Keep it how you work. And because I'm not here to tell anybody how to work. You could do it this way. You could do it a different way. It's do it
Yeah,
your
I mean, there are ways. I mean, I've got a couple of my mentors have said, no, why take an hour? You could do them in 35, 40 minutes and charge the same money and get a longer throughput. Now, there's arguments for and against. Are they going to think they're getting value for money? Because they're paying the same amount of money but getting less time. But then you get people like Rob and a couple of people will sort of disagree, because I'm very thorough at explaining stuff. At the
so am
first
I.
session.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got some of my mentors saying, no, you don't need to explain stuff. They just want a result. But I say, well, if I don't explain stuff, they might not understand what we're doing. But then we've got people like Rob de Groot, who I know you know. What he does now, his sessions are a lot shorter. But what he does as part of his thing is that sends them videos, or there's videos on his site in hidden places. And he says, right, before the session, you must watch this video. Before the session, you must watch this video. And all his explanations are actually on the video so that he doesn't have to do it in the live session.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Beryl does that with one of hers, and I actually draw that diagram, but I draw it with my, because you've done the bunny talk with me, and
Yeah.
I spend I do spend a lot of time with my clients.
I do
But again,
too.
it's how we work. I mean, my first session is like 2 hours pretty much with everybody, and after that sessions are an hour and a half.
No, mine are sort of up to an hour and 10 for the first session, perhaps an hour and 10
Yeah,
quarter if they want to talk a lot. And
but I like the
interesting,
rapport, like
yeah,
that
and
kind of.
interestingly,
To me, that's the healing.
I don't know why it is. I haven't established why, but I'm doing more online stuff now, which was unusual for this country. But I'm doing more online, and I'm finding my online sessions are shorter, despite
Yeah,
the fact
actually.
I
Yeah.
tend to do the same techniques and the same approaches, but the sessions tend to be shorter because you're not in the same room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine are. I don't mind saying actually, mine online are than they
Yeah.
are in
I
person.
mean, some of it obviously is some
I
of it is
agree.
obviously because you're not introducing them, getting them comfortable, and you're not saying goodbye and taking them out. So that probably knocks 5 to 10 minutes off anyway, because you've already got the money. You click on the thing and they're already there when you want to start, and so on. So that does
Yeah,
save some time.
they don't need to go to the toilet and this and that and da da da
Yeah.
da. So Carrie Ann, how long are your sessions?
I'm typically I usually tell my clients an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah,
I allow a couple hours. I'm
yeah,
like, especially if they're a new client. If they're a new client, if they're not a new client, I'm fine. I'm usually done a lot of times by an hour or so.
Mm.
But yeah, I spend a lot of time with them.
I
Mm.
do. I mean, I
I
just
have a model that I work with, so I want them to understand what that is, that communication between the conscious and the subconscious, how they're communicating and
Mm.
all that kind of thing.
yeah, I do. That's what I
And
train in the bunny talk.
so
To me it makes sense. It's like it's the emotional, my version of emotional intelligence, so that people go, oh, okay, I get it. And then when they come in, then we just rattle through all their issues. But with the dementia again, it's building that rapport. And obviously Rob de Groot isn't seeing people living with dementia. He's seeing people generally for sports performance, isn't he?
Yeah, I
And
think he's more on that
golf,
now. He was doing other weird stuff as well, but he was.
golf and mental. Yeah, I mean and again, that is how he works. He's very probably authoritative, and and whereas Carrie Ann, you and I were probably more nurturing. Um,
yeah,
and I would say that you're probably more nurturing and caring as well, Gary. You know,
Mm. Yeah, and
it's
my time also depends on where I'm seeing them. I mean, obviously, hospital, you're very limited on time.
yeah,
If I get people coming to my house, seeing them at the clinic at home, then I actually book them in every hour and a half, because people have a tendency to either turn up late or turn up
yeah.
early, or they can overrun. So I say, right, it's an hour session, but I have a half hour sort of contingency between them, so to
Mhm.
allow for that. Whereas obviously, if I'm working out one of my clinics where there's a receptionist, then I just bang them in on the hour.
yeah,
Well, I'm using the biofeedback inner voice now too.
yeah, you've
And
got
that's
and add that
that's
into
a
your
huge thing. And I don't know. I mean, because I'm just starting to use that equipment in my practice. I don't know, you know, I'm curious how it might work for the dementia patient. Because what it's doing is it's measuring the frequency of the voice, and there's like maybe 80,000 frequencies there, that it will put together. And at one end of the spectrum, it's what's going on, whatever's going on right now. But on the other end of the spectrum, it's past stuff. It's unconscious, but it's bringing everything to balance. It's bringing the brain.
Well, you know, that's the beauty of having the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Because when you're working with them soon, all right, we'll get everybody onto that soon, that you'll be able to just say, I can work with you, all right. And then it's like, and then, you know, we'll be reporting back, and, you know, oh, this is what I do, and this is how it started, and this is how that worked, because everybody's interested. There is no right or wrong, because we're all seeing people. They are people
Exactly.
first living with this. Do you see what I mean? Living with their dementia, with their the diagnosis they've just got, and you can help them navigate it. That's what we're here for, just to help them navigate it, so that they remember to bring their person forward. That's all. And this is so we'll keep going over those things. I've got to do a load of videos for when I'm not here in April. So I'll be working with some other people who work with people living with dementia, just so you get different aspects of it. Very helpful.
Where are you going in April, Claudia?
Dublin, yeah, go England. And yeah, I'll be seeing Gary, and then I'll be going to Las Vegas as well, doing a training. So I'm actually going to learn how to do and completely opposite, but I have this alter ego. I want to do a bit of stage hypnosis.
Who are you doing that with?
Rich Guzzi.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's very good. He's very good at stage hypnosis.
So well, yeah, he's getting good at getting you under in a live environment. Yeah, saying that, no, I've just realised I've got a client from 5:30 till 6:30 next week, so I will come in rather late. It's a Zoom one, so it'll be easy to come out. And then the following Monday I will be on a plane, because I'm presenting in Denmark.
Yes, you are. Okay. Well, we will miss you.
And then I'll be about for a week, and then I'm going elsewhere again for another week.
Yeah, I know there's another Monday I'm missing because I'm coming back from Boston.
I'm
so
missing the 24th of March again.
Yeah, the 24th. I'm not here.
I'm not about either. I'm about on the 31st, and then I'm with you in Dublin the week after.
So Carrie Ann, you and I'll be on for the next few weeks, and then we'll but there are videos, and I don't know if either of you have caught up on those other videos.
Well, I did the week that you were gone, that you were in Vegas. I did watch that, where there was the interaction between you and the physical therapist.
Oh, good. Yeah, that was a good one.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I did watch that, and I intended to turn on
the other one.
The other one, because it's in the Facebook, right? Is it?
Yeah. Those are the only one I missed was last week's, which was just going over that thing again. So I apologize. It just didn't record, because I started recording and then I stopped the recording, then I started recording again, and I think it only lets you record it once. So
okay.
It didn't work. But
I've got the notes. I've got the notes.
Yeah, you've got the notes. It wasn't exciting. But you now know that the IMR is to be used. Okay. Idiomotor response when we do the actual hypnosis. All right. So it's very pronounced. Literally, the finger goes up and stays up.
Oh,
it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, any more questions? You've got to go, Gary. I'll see you.
I have. No, it wasn't a question. It was just my mind goes off all over the place, and I was just thinking of something silly. It was when you were talking earlier about adult colouring books, and I saw somebody put a thing on one of the social media things, a spoof adult colouring book for sale. It was a spoof adult colouring book. It was pandas and polar bears.
Very funny. I'm sure there could be some very funny adult colouring books, actually.
Wherever the mind can go, right?
I know, wherever the mind can go. There we go. That's hilarious. I don't know, honestly.
Right.
All right. Well, you've got to go.
Possibly halfway through next time.
All right. See you soon. All right. Bye. Bye, Gary. Bye.
Bye, Gary.
Yeah. Any questions on any of this, Carrie Ann?
No,
You can
get
probably
it.
start saying, if looking around, see if you know of anybody, I can help you.
Pardon? Oh,
Start
well,
saying to people, if you've got any clients or anybody
yeah,
going,
I can
oh,
help.
you can say, I
had to go get a blood draw this morning at my doctor's, and I talked to her about it. She's in a networking group that I'm in, so we talked a little bit about it, and
I can help support.
whether the
Okay.
dimension she was wondering about brain injuries and different things like that.
So again, because you then have to get the neurologist. I did with somebody who had a brain injury,
Yeah.
and it's
Had-
fine. They
you
don't
had to
mind
get
it.
the okay
I
from
just
them.
we're in America.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's like you just want to get covered, don't you? You just want to make sure that you're going to be okay. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's because if something goes wrong, then they're easy to blame you,
yeah,
and it's not.
exactly.
It's probably not you at all, because everybody, we know that hypnosis is as harmless as anything.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's because people, oh, I'll be stuck in hypnosis. No, you can't be stuck in hypnosis. Your bladder will wake you up. You will need to go to the bathroom.
That's a good way to put it. I've never heard it said like that. That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
But we're just in hypnosis all day long anyway.
I know. So
so
it's the word. It is the word.
Suggestion. It's suggestion. It's a word.
Eyes open.
Yeah.
It's like literally, it's the word hypnosis.
Yeah.
Which is why actually, we could just call it guided meditation.
Well, you know what? When I first was in this profession, I looked at getting around that type of thing in that respect. And finally I said, it's hypnosis. And I'm just going to tell people that's what I do, period. Yeah. I do hypnosis.
And I tell you what,
it's similar to guided meditation. It's, these types of things, but that's what I do. And I just am out there, I'm in several networking groups. And so I just explain to people, what it is, what we're doing.
Well, Carrie Ann, I think you're quite right. And but if it's like, if people do think it's weird, that's all you have to say. But it's like, it's far sexier to say you're a hypnotist, isn't it?
Yeah.
People go, ooh.
It's interesting the response you get from people when you say, oh, I do.
I know. They go, ooh.
Therapist. And they're like,
whoa,
tell me about that.
It's like a magic power, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
I know.
It's all magic. I tell my clients a lot, especially young little kids or something. I'll say, it's a game. It's magic. Not everybody knows how to play, but you do.
Oh, I love that. Do you see children?
Occasionally I do. Especially when my husband was actually in the classroom and teaching, and I was around educational a lot more. But yeah, the youngest one I ever saw was like 5 years old.
Yeah, my youngest has been 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I see children.
And he actually did very, very well. And I've done others along the way, different ages. Sure.
Yeah. I bet you're lovely to work with.
I
said, I bet you're lovely to work with. Very caring.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyway, I'm going to stop that recording now.